Hi everybody. Starting the video with a disclaimer. This is my 6th day of studying Kotlin. Though my channel name is the Kotlin King, that reflects my aspiration, not the current situation. In this video, I go through things that I learned recently. Today we're going to continue with conditionals and control flow. In this lesson, we start by declaring three variables: my age, smoking age, and drinking age. Basically, it's an if statement that takes your age and checks if you're old enough to smoke cigarettes in the US and old enough to drink in the US, so age of 21, and see also if you're between the age of 18 to 21. Um, so if your age is above the smoking age and your age is below the drinking age, so here's a new operator that we didn't discuss yesterday. This is the AND operator. And if there's an AND operator in the if statement, both of these conditions need to be true in order for the statement here to return true. If so, if this returns true, we'll print the line, I can buy cigarettes, but not alcohol in the US because my age is above or equal to 18, but less than 21. We also introduced something, the else if. So if this returns false, and then it checks to see if your age is above the drinking age. Because if your age is equal to above, I'm sorry, the drinking age, then you'll print the line, I can buy cigarettes and alcohol in the US. If neither of these are true, then we print the line, I cannot buy either. So in this example, because my age is 19, it will return true here because it's between the age of 18 and 21. So that's why it returns the statement, I can buy cigarettes but not alcohol in the US. If I change this to 17, I expect it to print, I cannot buy either because both of these become false. I tried to use an example that we are, at least here in the US, we're all comfortable with. And also introducing the new operator AND. If this is true, you print this. If this is not true, then we check to see if this statement is true and return this or print this. Neither of these are true, then we print this. Relatively easy to understand, hopefully. But again, introducing a new operator and also introducing the else if as well. Here we have a function, can you buy cigarettes, that takes in one parameter or one variable, which is age, and is an integer. Pretty simple. If age is equal to or above 18, we print I am. Here, this age will take in the input that the function gets and prints it out here, so I can buy cigarettes. Else, it prints out this following text. So here, because we put in 17, this function, when we call it with this input, prints out I am 17, so I cannot buy cigarettes. If we put 19, it should return this line. I am 19, so I can buy cigarettes. Um, I think these examples were provided to, provide simple intuition. But I think, as mentioned yesterday, what this statement, this whole structure is looking for, this whole concept of control flow, is basically giving the function enough info so it knows what decision to make. Here, the function is looking for whether or not this is true or false. This is, of course, true in the case when we provide the number 19, this is true, so this is what it's going to do. And when we provided the number 17, 17 is not greater than or equal to 18, so it went to the else. It's controlling the flow of decision making, the flow of information is essentially what it comes down to. Move on to the next set of examples. Um, Here, I wanted to go over the AND operator here again, using an example I think that we're all relatively familiar with. Declare a function, can you vote, that takes in two inputs, the age, which is an integer, and a citizenship, which is a Boolean. So true would mean that yes, you're a citizen, and false would mean that no, you're not a citizen. Um, Here we say if the age is equal to or greater than 18 and citizenship. Now notice I didn't write citizenship equals true. You actually don't need to write this part if this is a Boolean type, right? You could actually just write citizenship and it would return either a true or a false. If both of these conditions are true, the age is equal to or greater than 18, and the value of citizenship is true, then the function is going to print I can vote. If not, it will print I cannot vote. So here, when I say that give them an age of 21, but I also pass in the value of false for citizenship, if I run this function, it should say I cannot vote, right? Because yes, the 21 does make this return true, but we pass in the value false for citizenship. Both of these need to be true in order for the function to print the line I can vote. If I change this to true, now both of these conditions are true. So this is the line it's going to print. I notice this is very intuitive because I think also because of the way I try to use an example that we all have basic intuition of, but I think just really getting familiar with the syntax, getting familiar with how you provide the inputs and the variables, um, how you use the AND operator here, and in this part, just understanding that because this is a Boolean type, we could just put citizenship and which holds the value true or false, and getting comfortable with the overall structure of writing um, if statements, incorporating if statements within functions, um, and being able to understand that this is all part of the decision making of the program, I think will really help as um, you write more complex code. Here we have two variables here. You have a green card, which is, again is a Boolean type. Notice I stopped writing um, this part. I stopped writing whether or not it's a Boolean. Kotlin is the smart enough to know what variable type it is without us having to provide that when we declare variables. Here I have green card a value of true and I have citizenship value of false. This if statement introduces a new operator. This is the OR operator. This reads if either this or this is true, this is going to become true. Again, notice I didn't write um, I didn't have to write this. But that's essentially what it's saying. I just put if have green card or have citizenship. When I first saw that, I got confused because I was always thinking of if statements as having to have this operator equal to. But I'll put it there. It still might take you a little bit of time to really just think automatically, oh, it's a Boolean, so it'll either be a true or false, and it needs to be true. Uh, on either one for this whole thing to return true. But I think it is easier at first to gain intuition on if statements while writing out like this. So I will. Here it says if either one is true, either have green card or have citizenship, it'll print the line, I can live in this US permanently. If not, which basically means that both are false, um, you cannot live in the US permanently. In this case, because one of them is true, hence qualifying the condition needed in the or operator, it prints out I can live in the US permanently. If I write false for both, it will return I cannot live in the US permanently. So I think, again, this is repeating something I spoke about in the previous tutorial. If statement is just all, in my mind, directing the function on what to do next. And it takes the cue, per se, on whether the if statement returns true. If it returns true, you move to the next step. If not, um, it does something else. Hence the use of the word else here. Um, but I think just as important as that, just getting comfortable with how these are written. These are relatively simple examples, so to help you not really worry about like the variables or what's just trying to build a little bit of a story or meaning behind it. But this is perfectly fine the way this is written. Have green card or have citizenship. Um, and this makes sense because these are Boolean types, so true or false. So I could intuitively think, okay, if I have a green card or I have citizenship, I can live in the US permanently. In this example, that is very natural. Of course, as the code gets more complex and we introduce different things, it won't be, of course, this intuitive in our usual way. But I think getting comfortable with thinking about if statements and getting comfortable with thinking about Boolean types and how this fits in to the quote unquote control flow of the program, I think could be very helpful. Um, Hopefully that clarifies things a little bit, and thank you for listening.